Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Creative Educator Collective. And if you're new, welcome. I'm Kanesha from boldlivingtoday.com.
And hi, everyone. I'm Kari Knutson from Knutson Speaks.
Happy December, everybody. Happy wrap up of 2018. Woo!
I know. Awesome.
Yes. Kari and I have had such a, I would like to say, ginormous work year, if I can say that. Is that verbiage? We've had a ginormous work year individually and together, and we'll talk about that. But together, launching the Creative Educator Collective, growing it, getting our event ready for 2019, and just really having a good time working together as longtime friends and business women. And so we want to bring to you this month, December, our tools, our strategies, our fun for wrapping up 2018 and preparing for really robust, exciting, creative, joyful, whatever your word is, 2019. What do you think, Kari?
Well, I think what's so good about this is that, well, first of all, I love working with you. And second of all, I think that sometimes people get in the mindset like, oh my gosh, it's December. I don't have time for anything. And you just feel like you get the holiday rush or whatever. And we could actually use this time not to do that, to have a different mindset around feeling good about wrapping up 2018 without just giving up on our goals or feeling like I'll just do it next year. So that's what I'm excited to do with you, to help us. Let's have a good December and talk about what we want to do to plan for 2019, but we still have some good 2018 reflecting to do.
We have some good time to really get solid on what we think about ourselves, what we've done, and what we want to do next. And not in this all or nothing way. We haven't wasted time. We haven't let things gotten away from us, but we really want to kind of bring it all together and then figure out how to leverage it for our next step or our what next or our time for change, whatever the case is, or our shift, as we always say in the CEC. So, okay. I am a real big creative and, as Kari calls me, a master of ideation. But what I want to do for myself and with Kari and to show you all how to do is to take the bold route in looking at your 2018 and preparing for your 2019. And when I say bold route, the word bold has different, each letter has a different meaning. So B for bold is believing you can. O is owning your uniqueness. L is leveraging your skills. And D is deciding that your time is now. So those are the things of bold. So, Kari, I've asked you to do some things and getting ready for our process. Do you want to say a little something about what I asked you to do, or AKA pushed you to do?
Yes, because I'm speaking for the people who don't think of themselves as super creative, that don't just have. I didn't honestly know what washi tape was till this year. And I had a little lesson from Kanesha, that's right. And I kind of think in a more linear way. I'm not as colorful as creative. And so what was good about working with Kanesha is that she's helped push me to be like, how can you make your planning more visual, and how can you find more joy in even what it looks like? So when you go back to it, you want to look at it. It's something that's pretty. So I want to show you that I've purchased my first, I know what it is. I went into Michael's and asked for washi tape. And I also got some awesome Sharpies and other things like that. So I think I'm, for all of those of you who think you're like, I'm not a creative person or I don't know how to put this together, I'm here to show you that you can. And that Kanesha is such a good guide. And one of the reasons we're working together is using different skill sets brings up different things for us. And I think for me, being more visual will help me put my ideas, take them out of my head and put them on paper, and help me actually create something that I can go back to visually. So that for all you people who are like, I'm not creative, neither am I, but we're going to learn through Kanesha.
Okay, so this is definitely the season of bold. You know, it's the holiday season, but it's also the season of bold. So don't you forget that. As Kari mentioned, I'm super visual. As you see here, I do have my mood board here. This is what I use to motivate me when I'm working, having a hard time. It's tactile. It has glitter. Glitter is a movement. And different things I can feel. And I'm really about color and different things, changing my mindset when I'm having a hard time or when I'm trying to get excited. And then here is one part of my vision board. I have another part, but I did a workshop last week and it's still in the bag. Real talk. So these are different things that I have for visualization. But for what we're going to do for our wrap-up activity is I want to encourage people to, you know, grab their markers, their pens, their color pencils, and use what you have on hand. And then you can add to it later. But just go around your home, or if you're an educator, I'm sure you can borrow some things from work. But get some things like, and I'm reading from my list here because I always make a list, but it's color coded. So there you go. But pens, markers, crayons, pencils, washi tape, as Kari mentioned, I always encourage getting something sparkly or glittery because you need it, I believe. And the more colorful, the better. And as Kari has said, I always encourage clients and workshop participants to make things visually pleasing so that you'll come back to it and actually look at it and enjoy working on it and saying, look how proud I am of my work, and assessing it on a level that makes you delighted in your work. I mean, I just think it's so important, especially as adults. Everything doesn't have to be so serious all the time. You can have serious things on colorful paper with glitter. It's a thing. So that's the first part. So I have so many tools, people, you would just, but let me calm down first. So I like smaller pieces of paper because then I like to put them on the walls and then move them around and do different things with them. Sometimes when I'm doing my monthly planning like this, I have like the month or the quarter and stuff like that. So I usually like smaller pieces of paper, but if you like just a regular size sheet of paper, like copier paper, if you have that, that's fantastic. Using your journal is great if you want to put that stuff in there. So I like to have that. And then for this activity, I use my washi tape, which of course is sparkly. And I just outlined it because I wanted it to be pretty. So, have your materials on hand, spread out, get down on the floor if you need to, because it's fun. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is you want to select the top 4 categories that you focused on in 2018. I know, 4 people. 4 is a good number. Don't do 10, don't do 5, 4. 4 is our number for this to focus on. So some examples might be like work, career, parenting, wellness or health, home, caregiving, if that's part of your life, whatever your top 4 things are. So my example is I have parenting as a top one for me this year. We have big transitions in our home with parenting with our 2 children. One in college, one starting a brand new school after having a lot of challenges previously with the other school. Speaking engagement was a huge focus. Health was another focus for me. And then my 4th focus, I haven't whittled it down, but I have 3 things pending, but I'm going to whittle it down to 4. But I have 3 things pending, and whether it's 5-year plan, thinking ahead if my husband and I want to make a transition to potentially relocate, because we always seem to be thinking about that every 5 years because we keep moving. Another thing that's a potential is just marriage in general, because we celebrated our 20th anniversary. And then the other option is caregiving. But I think the marriage one is gonna be the 4th category, just because I'm still going through my calendar and all my different things. So Kari, what about you? What were your 4 categories just to start?
Sure. My 4 categories were, and what I did is I put them on a big sheet of paper like this with room to put sticky notes.
Pretty.
My categories. I know, look at me put stuff on paper. Check me out. So I put on my categories public speaking, and my work specifically around doing public speaking. My second category is my one-woman show that I'm doing and promoting that, and really figuring out what the show is going to be for my business, and stop having it kind of as a side thing and bring it more into what I'm doing on a regular basis. And then organization of my home, and how getting a home office completely set up and working, and having a vision for how my home could be organized in a really good way that works, not just like a haphazard way. So organization of my home. And then my kids were going through a big school transition, and so focusing on new school, part of the community, getting them acclimated. So I put kids/school. So those are my 4 categories.
That's great.
Put some washi tape.
Yes, coming. We'll see that coming up soon. We'll see if she uses her washi tape. I'm her accountability partner on those things. So it's important to have your 4 categories. And if thinking of the 4 categories first is too difficult, then what you want to do is go through your planner. Like if you keep a planner, keep a paper planner in addition to, having things on my iPhone. Yes. Go through your planner, see what things that had your top focus. You might want to get a highlighter and for certain things, categorize them a certain color, and then, pick another color for other categories, because then you can go back and see, like, if yellow, for example, was family, then that's a huge category if you have tons of yellow. And let's say you chose blue for your business or your side hustle because you're thinking about launching something, that might have been your second focus. So, you can start with the categories first, or you can look at your planner or look at your journal and see what were the top highlights for 2018, and maybe that will drive what your categories are. So once you have your categories in place, what you want to do, and you can put it on paper, put it in a journal, but as you can see, Kari and I are using the large paper. And so when I get further along in my process, which I'll show you all, like, I will have my categories, and I like to use sticky notes because if I change my mind, I don't have to redo the whole board. And I like to move things around because I change my mind as I'm going through the reflective process, and that's not a problem. So that fourth one, I don't know, Kari inspired me. I might have to throw out the ones I thought and put the organization on there because, oh my gosh, I could do some additional organization specifically around my craft materials. Like, they're fine, but they could be better. But once you have...
I got someone who can help you. I found someone.
Send her my way. Send her to the West Coast.
I will.
So what I'm going to do, once I decide these are my final categories, I'm going to put them on smaller Post-it notes, just so I'll have more space for writing. I know it's crazy over here on my desk, but it's fun. And then I'm going to put washi tape to divide the categories. I might use this gold, which is super fun, or I might use the one that has donuts because I love donuts. Or I might use something that's more thematic for the time of year, something holiday focused. There's more washi tape here, people, but you don't have to see my full addiction. So 4 categories. This one's pending for me. Separating the areas by washi tape. You can use a pen, pencil, whatever. If you want it to be super straight, use a ruler or just freehand. Just go crazy, go wild. So once you have your 4 categories, then what you want to do is put the highlights that took place in 2018 in those categories. Because a lot of times when we're looking at the end of the year, we're always talking about what we haven't done, what we haven't accomplished, what didn't work. We want to know what worked here. We want to know what your highlights were and why they are highlights and why it was so exciting that you focused on that and what you worked on. And if something was challenging, it could go on there too. You're the guide of this. You can be honest with yourself. This is your own private reflection, or maybe you're doing this with your team. Maybe you're doing this with your partner or spouse. Maybe you're doing this as a family and you have a family one, but everybody has an individual one. However, but this is the process: 4 categories and then different things that fall under that category for 2018. So how is this? Yeah, go ahead, Kari.
Well, I'm going to add it. So what I did, like what you said is so important, is adding the things that you actually accomplished, because so many times we think about what we don't do instead of what we did do. And I think it's not very motivating when you think it's like, oh my God, all these things are going to be added to my to-do list. So sometimes when you're reflecting, I love your idea. So like I put some notes on some sticky notes, and it was all things that I accomplished that I could put under my 4 categories that Kanesha inspired me to think about. And it was great to put it on the sticky notes, be like, I did this, I did that under this category. And I think it's so helpful to pick 4 because it limits my brain is like, I could have 100 categories.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, but 4 was so helpful. And then putting a few little sticky notes about what did I accomplish that felt good, and then how will that set me up for next year? I think it was such a great way to frame it, Kanesha. So I really liked doing that, to feel like, oh, now I'm actually more motivated to keep going rather than demotivated by the thought of what I haven't accomplished.
Yeah, and I feel like this particular process is so effective because a lot of times we don't spend enough time really looking at all that we're managing, all that we're doing, and we feel like a certain accomplishment has to be at this level or way up here, when an accomplishment could be like right here or even a little bit lower, but it still counts. It's still an accomplishment. It still is worthy of being acknowledged. And as adults, as busy people, as educators, especially this time of year, we are moving so fast. It's like the treadmill of winding up to finish the semester, or however your system works, whether you're on trimester, semesters, or whatever the case may be. And we get caught up in wrapping up as opposed to taking a happy glance backwards at the things that we, worked so hard on, things we got done, and things that we didn't even know we could do, and we still did.
Yes.
So yeah, that's exciting. So yeah, this is the first step in our we have it's a 4-part series. Did I not mention that earlier?
Yeah, we didn't even say it. We're doing a 4-part series.
We're doing a 4-part series on your wrapping up 2018 to get ready for 2019. So this is the first part of the process, and we encourage you to take your time. Like, get your diffuser going, put on your holiday music or your happy music, put on your cozy clothes, spread out on your kitchen table, or on the floor, or on the living room area, and really dive deep into this and enjoy yourself. Or if you're at work, you can still put a little music on. You can still put your diffuser on maybe, or, give yourself a little facial water spritz or something to get you into a relaxed mood and go through the process. And I really like when people are working with materials and paper, but if that's really not your thing, it is okay to do this on your computer electronically. It's okay to do it. You can still add visuals there. You can still use different colors and make it very visually pleasing for yourself. So if you're not down with the washi tape, we're okay with that too. We're flexible.
Yeah, but I would encourage you to stretch yourself a little bit, because I think when we do what we're used to, we kind of think the same thoughts and do the same things. And for me, pushing myself out of my digital world, out of typing things, and putting it on paper and forcing myself to be creative in a way is like, I feel like it's a deeper level of getting to my stuff and thinking about it. Yeah, and also accessing it. Like, even though this is silly for me, this is kind of a big deal. I put something on board, I'm going to have it up and make it pretty and see it. And I think it helps keep your goals close to you. So thanks for inspiring, Niche. And again, for all those people who don't think they're creative, yes, you are in some way. You don't have to be creative the same way. But part of the reason we called our company Creative Educator Collective is because we're trying to bring out the creativity in all of us, however that looks for you. It does not have to look the same, but we all have something in us that can be expressed in a creative way. And it's fun to try.
Fun to try. And this is just a structure that you can take and customize. And think about the communities you work with. Think about the students you support. Think about your colleagues you support and how you would encourage them. Take that encouragement and offer it to yourself as you go through this process. Yeah, so stay tuned for part 2, where we'll continue the process. Keep your study materials when you come to watch our video. Bring your notebook, your journal, so you can take notes and you can access what we're saying and push pause when you need. And, send us a comment. Let us know how it's going for you. Share your pictures on Instagram or Facebook, and you can use the hashtag S.H.I.F.T Framework, and we will see it. We would love to see your work. And as Kari and I continue this, you'll get to see, we'll be posting on Facebook and Instagram and also Twitter for the Creative Educator Collective, our process and different things. And some things might be blurred on there because, it's a little personal, some areas, but we do want you to see our process and our structure and how we're really being accountable to each other and working through and celebrating ourselves and then dreaming bigger and bolder for 2019.
That's what we're all about. So we hope you join us on our journey and in this 4-part series. And thanks for being part of the Creative Educator Collective.
All right. Bye, everybody. See you next time.